Hello, I'm Andrei Mincov, and you're watching the Kick-Ass Brand Show, the show about, you guessed it, kick-ass brands. And today, you're in for a treat, because my guest is the man who came up with the idea for this show. Please welcome Dan Lok. Dan is a world-renowned business mentor, an internet marketing authority, and a multimillionaire serial entrepreneur who has been mentoring me since December of 2015. To those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Trademark Factory. We help entrepreneurs and companies who are truly committed to their success secure their trademarks so that no one even thinks about ripping off their brand names, logos, and taglines. So one day, I shared with Dan how exciting my life was because I come across a lot of great brands. And he told me, why don't you create a show about those brands? It wouldn't be a show about how great Trademark Factory is. It wouldn't be a show about Andrei. It would be a show about great brands and their owners, who I'm sure will be able to share some educational and inspirational stories. I thought it was a great idea and that it only made sense for me to have Dan on the first episode of the Kick-Ass Brand Show. Dan has helped build many businesses, but today's focus is building his personal brand. So let's hit it. I can't wait to share this interview with you. I know that you've built a multitude of businesses and a plethora of brands, but your biggest focus today is building your personal brand.
Definitely.
So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's start with this.
Okay.
So what is your kick-ass brand and what's it stand for? I mean, at what point did you realize that your name is no longer just your personal name, that it's actually a brand?
Because I think people buy people. And over the years, I think one of the mistakes that I've made, I wish I would focus on more personal branding initially, early in my career. And I think what Dan Lok stands for is simply that if I can do it, then other people can do it. I think a lot of people, they come to me and sometimes they see my presentation and they walk up to me afterwards and say, you know, the most common word that I hear over and over again is inspirational. So now the mission of the brand is to impact 1 million entrepreneurs worldwide. That's the mission. But I think what it stands for is, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, and I would totally stand for that definition because I've experienced this in my personal business life. So in general, not just about Dan Lok, but in general, what do you think makes a brand kick ass?
I think a good brand connects with people emotionally, on an emotional level. Then when you say Nike, when you say just do it, it's a motivational, it's empowering, it means something. When you wear that, you can wear any other athletic shoes, but when you wear Nike or the t-shirts, like, you know what, I have that attitude that I could do this. Same thing with other types of brands. So I think it connects with the customers on an emotional level. When you use an Apple product, it's not just, it's great technology, but it's, you know what, I use a Mac computer. I'm in the cool, boys and girls club. Yeah. You're using some other things. Nah, you're not so cool anymore, right? So I think it stands for something. And also I think it's identity as well. That they identify themselves as that group of people. So when people they come to me or they come to even other meetups, I think the brand, let's even think of Entrepreneurs Group, attracts certain types of entrepreneurs. Yeah. And I think a good brand attracts certain types of audience, and it should also repel certain type of audience. So it shouldn't be so vanilla. Oh yeah, we're not Walmart, right? Even Walmart doesn't appeal to just everybody. Yeah. Okay, so I think
it's also a brand.
It's also a brand. Absolutely, it's a brand. So and because I came from the background of just marketing and copywriting and direct response, a lot of the direct response marketing guys, they kind of look down on, oh, this branding is bullshit. It's logo, it's tagline, and people don't buy that. And no, long sales copy, or whatever techniques that they use. And I used to believe that. I used to preach, no, branding is this bullshit, it's a waste of money. Awareness is all bullshit. It's not true. I was wrong. Because I now believe when you have a strong brand combined with those direct response techniques, you can grow your company much faster. Because direct response, you send an offer, you do any kind of advertising, you get a response great. You get an order, you get an opt-in, great. But branding is something that you do and you don't see any results. But when you do enough of it, things come to you. And then people start buying your products and services without you go through your typical sales process or pitch. That people will just buy because they identify or they resonate with your brand. That's what I noticed, right? Mm-hmm. So I wish I'd have learned it earlier, but never too late, never too late. And a good perfect example, going back to your question, how do I know when I should focus more on my personal brand? It's when I started getting, a number of years ago, started getting checks, and I purposely told people, you know, when you write a check to me, payable to my company. Many times they write my name. Mm-hmm. Just Dan Lok. I said, no, it's a bit shy to deposit that. Please, right? Write down my company. They still write my name. Yeah. I noticed, it means in their minds, they're doing business with me. That's why they write a check. They're not thinking about the company.
You should have Dan Lok Enterprise.
Well, maybe I should. Maybe Dan Lok Inc. or something like that. I wish I could trademark that. Can I trademark that? If I'm more famous, maybe I could. Maybe I could. And so because of that, and I noticed, you know what? People buy people. At the end of the day, we are buying another person, not just the company, not just the products and services. So nowadays, I recommend anybody to promote. Doesn't matter what products and services that you have. For example, your trademark, but also you're promoting your personal brand through your speaking, through your 4 books that you have. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's funny, as I was driving here, I was listening to Neil Patel's podcast. Yes. And the one that I listened to is when he says, nobody's Googling, I want to buy a car.
Yeah.
They're looking for specific brands. Yeah. So that's the power of the brand, because people know exactly what they want and they know what they want because they know the brands.
Yeah. Nobody types, cheap truck. No, they don't want to buy a Ford. They want to buy a Chevrolet. They want to buy a Mercedes, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you do to promote your kick-ass brand?
A lot. A lot.
I know, but the audience would like to know.
I think, first of all, most people don't do enough. They think, I do a little bit of advertising, that's it. You need to do them all. I mean, social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, maybe even now Snapchat, YouTube, of course, podcasts.
How many videos do you have on your YouTube now?
Now, I think 400. I started about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And everything that you do. Everything that you do, the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, that's all part of the brand. Every time you open your mouth, that's part of your brand. Every time you send an email, that's part of your brand. So everything. On average now, of course, you listen to my show, Shoulders of Titans, so I conduct 1 interview per week. That's almost 50 somewhat interviews per year. I missed a couple interviews because, with the move, everything, but now I'm resuming, that's good. On average, I give about 1 interview per week. Sometimes about 2 interviews per week. So a minimum of 52 interviews per year. That's someone interview me. So that's what you do to promote your brand. Constantly, you got to be out there, you got to be in front of people, you got to grab their attention. Otherwise, it's just so much noise in the marketplace. You need to do so much more to cut through the clutter and just to get attention from people. So it's not just one post and, hey man, that's it. No, you got to be in front of them all the time. And that's the awareness. A perfect example. In September, because we took 2 months off for Mincov Entrepreneurs Group. And in September, now just next week is the event. Then we start promoting and things like that. Now here's the thing, that's the power of branding. Before I even sent out the first email, I haven't announced the event yet. We already had 30 people register for the event. That's with 0 announcement, 0 marketing. That's brand because they've been to the event, they like it, the experience is good, they already register. They look for it, or when is it happening. They know it's sometime in September. Now, when I send out the email, within 24 hours, I had a dozen registrations. So that's marketing. But you think about it, that 30 that I got, that's branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, how kick-ass is your brand?
I think, that's a good question. I think maybe from my perspective, I think what it stands for, I would give it like an 8 or 9. It's very clear what I'm about, what I'm not about, who I want to attract, who I not want to attract. I'm very clear from that perspective. From reach, like how many people I reach, that's like a 1 from my perspective. I could do so much more. So from the vision, from the identity, from the clearness of the brand, I would 8 or 9. From where I want it to be, it's 1 out of 10.
The great thing that I notice about you is even though you see that you're not, as widely known as you want to,
Yeah.
it doesn't bear one bit on your confidence. Or you still know that what you're building is great, and you just keep doing that.
And that's why my whole life, people doubted what I do.
Yeah.
The first day I started the group, nobody doubted. Said, no, you can't do the group. Nobody would come. No, it's saturated. I do it. Same thing with the podcast. Everybody said I can't do it. I'm going to do it. Same thing now with the YouTube. Oh no, you can't do it. I'm going to do it. My first business, same thing. Even back then, many years ago, a decade ago, I said I'm going to be a speaker. No, you can't do it. You speak with an accent. You're Chinese. You don't have experience. It's going to listen to you. All this stuff. Right? I wrote my first book. No one's going to buy the book. How am I going to publish it? You're not going to find a publisher. No one wants to buy it. It's the same thing. Right? So it's the same thing now. It doesn't affect me. I said, fine. What I have is time. I said, just watch. I guarantee a year from now, I'm going to have a bigger reach. 2 years from now, I'm going to have a bigger reach. 10 years from now, I'll even a bigger reach. Just watch me. That's my stick-to-itness. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm consistent. So I got time. It's okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So generally, and for you, how important do you think it is to protect your brand?
Many years ago, just when I was doing direct response, I thought it was not important. And I learned the lesson the hard way. One of the domain names many years ago that I registered online called Stealth Marketing, STEALTH, Stealth Marketing. After I registered domain name, I think a few months later I got a nasty envelope from some lawyer saying, hey, this is a trademark and you can't use this, you gotta give up your domain name. If you've sold anything, you gotta pay us. And like, I've never seen anything like this in a very early age in business. So when I got that, I'm like, holy shit, someone has that much power that can take away my brand and my domain name, even if it's my idea. Not that I want to do anything with idea, but that's when I learned, okay, you got to protect your name. That you could spend years building something and you thought, I'm working hard, I'm doing my marketing, I'm spending a lot of money. Entrepreneurs spend a lot of money promoting the brand. Suddenly,
money and time
and effort. And suddenly, you might spend 10 years doing it. You have a lot of those stories. And somebody said, actually, you can't use that anymore. Or actually, that's my name and I'm going to sue you now. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so extremely important. In fact, it's like people say, I'm sure you get that question a lot too. When should I trademark my name? Before or after? I think my reply is, okay, do you want to learn, if you're going to fly a plane, do you want to learn how to fly a plane before you get on a plane or after you get on a plane? I think it would be before, right?
When I cover this in my seminars, I usually use the image of a condom.
Yeah.
Like, when do you use it, before or after?
It's exactly, it is. I think that's a great metaphor. I think trademark is like toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's when you don't need it, then you don't think about it. When you need it, you really need it. You wish you have it.
Yeah.
So think of it as insurance policy, just in case before you do any marketing. I mean, think any marketing we do, we're gonna spend tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
What's spending a few $1,000s for a brand, right? And also I've used other like law firms and stuff. I had a terrible experience where they bill me and then they said it's going to be this price, and then I pay them and then later, oh no, it's going to be a little bit more. So my budget was this, but it ended up being a lot more, tens of thousands of dollars. And it was a ripped off. And I didn't know, I thought it cost tens of thousands of dollars. And that's when we met, I thought, oh my God, Andrei, 10 grand, 15 grand for trademark. When I know, oh actually it's a lot more affordable than I thought. And it's how your unique position, it's a flat rate. I think that's awesome. So
thank you.
For sure.
So you kind of covered this already, but so obviously trademarks would probably be the first thing to do, the first step to protect the brands. But there's also other things like domain names, social media, profiles, just building the websites and links to them. Any other strategies that you use to protect your brand?
I would say, so trademark definitely your logo. And I think with everything that you do, social media, let's say from a security point of view, your password and things like that, don't give that out to people. The other day I was reading an article about someone had an Instagram account. I think they have like 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then it got hacked or something like that.
Oh.
And then suddenly, like, they're doing some weird stuff.
Wow.
And then a whole bunch of their posts were gone. Like 200 of the posts or something like that were gone. What took them a lot of time to build. Well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Of course.
And the same thing with...
And that's branding.
That is branding. And I don't believe in so much, not so much strategies, but I think that overall mindset we got to have is we are the best promoter for our own brand. It's not someone that, yeah, we could hire someone to design a logo, that's all okay. But at the end of the day, we have to know what we're trying to create. It's not just, oh, I'll just hire some agency to create that. They do the branding thing and I kind of do my thing. It's not like that. Branding is something I think entrepreneurs should think of it very seriously. And if you have your brand, oh, is that working or is that not working? Is the color the color that I want? Because different color symbolize different things.
Yeah.
Blue is trust, right? IBM blue. And you have also maybe the Twitter, kind of a lighter blue. That's a different thing, right? If you use black, it stands for different things as well. Orange stands for different things. So knowing those basics of brands, I think that's a good way to understand how it works, some of the basics. Yeah.
Cool. So you have so many resources. You have your YouTube channel, you have your podcast, you have your website, probably many of them.
I have about 200 domain names. 200, I think.
200, wow.
Yeah.
So where should people go to if they want to learn more about you and your kick-ass brand?
I would say just go to my website, danlok.com, DNLOK.com. Everything branches out from there. Or just Google Dan Lok and see what you see.
Yeah, and that's precisely what the branding strategies are for, to make sure you're always found.
Yeah, you don't want people to Google your name and they see something that you don't want them to see. That is not good.
Yeah. Well, Dan, thank you so much. It was great. I just want to tell you one more thing. Your brand kicks ass.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan and I would love to hear from you. What's your biggest insight you're taking away from this episode? What's one action you're going to take to put this knowledge into practice in your business? So leave your comment below and don't forget to share this interview with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to be the first to receive updates about new episodes. And if you think you have a kick-ass brand, email me at next@kickassbrandshow.com.